All right, let's fire up the two-stroke engine and head over to South Yorkshire. Today we're going to take an inside look at the really passionate world of the Sheffield Aces Scooter Club. But this is about so much more than just chrome parts and cool paint jobs. At its very heart, it's about a fundamental question. What is it that actually holds a community together? And we're going to explore that by seeing how this one particular group found their answer. Okay, so let's get right into it. First up, let's meet the Sheffield Aces. This is a group that's really become a cornerstone of the scooter scene, creating this incredible, tight-knit community on two wheels. So, when we say tight-knit, what does that actually look like in numbers? Well, we're talking about a solid crew of around 60 active members. That's big enough to really make an impression when they're on a ride out, but it's also small enough that pretty much everyone knows each other. And the thing that unites them, the really crucial part, is a shared love for a very specific kind of machine: classic geared scooters. We're talking about the legendary names, right? The Vespas, the Lambrettas. These aren't just a way to get from A to B. They are total cultural icons. So what about their origin story? Even though the whole scooter culture feels like it's been around forever, the club itself is actually pretty modern. It was officially founded back in 2013, and it grew fast, quickly becoming a real key player in the whole region's scene. And here's a little insider detail for you, but it's an important one. A really common mistake is to call them the Acers, with an ER. But no, it's Aces, like a winning hand of cards. Getting that right is kind of the first step to really understanding their unique identity. So if you were to kind of peek under the hood of this club, what would you see holding it all together? Well, it all really rests on what we can call the three pillars. This is the absolute foundation of who they are. And these are those pillars. First, you've got the riding. That's the shared activity, the reason to get out on the road together. That, of course, leads to socializing, which is what builds that strong community bond. And then, providing the soundtrack to everything is the music, those iconic sounds of mod, ska, and northern soul. They're all totally connected. You can't really have one without the others. So let's hit the road and see how all this passion and community turns into actual, real-world action. Can you just imagine it? The sights, the sound of the whole pack heading out together. A classic destination for clubs all across the UK is a place like Scarborough. That one word, it just conjures up this whole feeling, doesn't it? Freedom, friendship, and that sense of a shared journey. And their calendar is absolutely packed. They're a regular sight at major UK rallies in places like Whitby and Bridlington. They also organize their own regular local rideouts. And, this is really cool, they give back to the community through charity events like egg runs, where they deliver Easter eggs to children's hospitals and other fundraising rides. But look, the club's lifeblood isn't just found out there on the tarmac. This community really thrives even when the engines have cooled down. The social side is just as important. They have these regular meetings at local pubs to plan for the next rally, to swap tips and tricks on their restoration projects, and just to have that essential scooter talk that keeps the whole spirit of the club alive between events. Okay, let's zoom out a little bit. Because to really get the Sheffield Aces, you have to see their place in the bigger picture, what we're calling a Yorkshire legacy. Because the most crucial thing to grasp about the Aces is this: they are not alone, not by a long shot. In fact, they're kind of modern torchbearers for Sheffield's massive and historic scootering heritage. In a region that's famous for its industrial past, clubs like the Aces are building these new kinds of bonds, weaving themselves into a huge network of enthusiasts that keep a vibrant tradition alive for a whole new generation. So, let's bring it all home. What is the real engine of this community? When you strip everything else away, what does it all really come down to? It really distills down to three simple things. First, there's passion for the machines, the music, the whole culture. Second, there's friendship, the kind that's forged over countless miles on the road and in conversations at the pub. And finally, there's that unmistakable sound and smell of those two-stroke engines. And this brings us right back to where we started. But now, the question is for you. For the Aces, it's a shared love for scooters. So, take a moment and think about it. What fuels your community?